Bhakti Vinoda Krishna Bhajane Anukula Payajaha Satidivase Paramasuke Ikarakoro Yetaha Shuddha Bhakata Dharana Reno Vajanana Anukula Bhakata Seva Paramaseti Premalati Karamula Madhavati Bhakti Janani Chaitanya Palana Kori Bhakti Bhakti Chaitanya Palana Krishna Bhakti Bhakti Boli Parama Arare Kobori Krishna Bhakti Bhakti Boli Parama Arare Kobori Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Hare Gopi Jana Vallabha Devadhari Gopi Jana Gopi Jana Vallabha Devadhari Gopi Jana Yashoda Nandana Bhajadana Yashoda Nandana Bhajadana Yamuna Tira Jaya Vishnu Bhara Paramahamsa Parivaya Ashtakar Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Ananta Kota Vaishnu Vrinda Ki
Jai.
Namacharya Haryas Thakur Ki
Jai.
Jai Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Gopinath Srivastava Gaur Bhaktivedanta Ki
Jai.
Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Ramakunda Radhakunda Govardhan
Jai.
Vrindavan Dham
Jai.
Mayapur Dham
Jai.
Angamai
Jai.
Angamai
Jai. Jai.
Bhakti Devi
Jai.
Satyajna Bhagavatam
Jai.
All
Go.
glory to the temple, all glory to the temple, all glory to the temple, Shri Guru Ganga Bhakti Nama Om Vishnu Vidaya Vishnu Shri Radhe Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachari Devate Devati Pasitade Sakari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Hare Krishna, today on this auspicious day of Ekadashi,
Dneska na tento příznivý den Ekadaši
we'll be again reading from the 11th canto,
budeme pokračovat z 11. kanta
chapter
zpěvu
20,
20. kapitoly,
verse 27, 28.
verš 27 a 28.
So maybe you like to have mobile or something you might follow.
Pokud máte telefon, můžete to
But
následovat.
yesterday we did read the verse, we read the purport also.
Včera jsme četli ten verš a šli jsme skrz význam
And we covered some of the topics in a little discussion yesterday.
a pokryli jsme některé z těch témat, které jsme včera diskutovali.
And today we'll try to cover a few more,
Dneska se pokusím pokrýt ještě víc.
hopefully in a way which is somewhat relevant to our endeavors.
Doufám, že způsobem, který je relevantní našemu úsilí.
So today we're only going to read the verse today.
Dneska budeme jenom číst ten verš.
And we're expecting that you read the purport or heard the purport yesterday.
A předpokládám, že jste slyšeli nebo jste četli včera ten překlad, ten význam.
Question you and see what you can remember from that purport.
A já se vás budu ptát a uvidím, co si pamatujete z toho významu.
Okay, we just go through the Sanskrit first. We started earlier today than yesterday, so I presume we'll finish what 8:45.
Dneska začali dřív než včera, předpokládám, že kolik skončíme? 45.
Okay. Then it's the 9. With a little more time.
Takže máme trošku víc času dneska do 9.
Jata Shradho
Jata Shradho
Matkatasu
Matkatasu
Nivinaha
Nivinaha
Sarvakarmasu
Sarvakarmasu
Veda Dukatmakam
Yatmakam
Taman Parityage Pranishvaraha
Ishvaraha
Jata Shradho Matkatasu
Jata Shradho Matkatasu
Nivina Sarvakarmasu
Nirvinak Sarvakarmasu
Veda Dukatmakam Taman
Dukat Makakaman
Parityage Pranishvaraha
Ityage Pranishvaraha
Jata Shradho Matkatasu
Jata Shradho Matkatasu
Nirvina Sarvakarmasu
Nirvina Sarvakarmasu
Vedukatmakam Tamam
Veda Dukat Makakaman
Parityage Pranishvaraha
Ityage Pranishvaraha
Jata Shradho Matkatasu
Nirvina Sarvakarmasu Veda Dukat Makakaman Ityage Pranishvaraha
Jata Shradho Matkatasu Nirvina Sarvakarmasu Vedukatmakam Tamam Parityage
Pranishvaraha
Say this. Jata Shradho Matkatasu Nirvina Sarvakarmasu Vedukatmakam Tamam Parityage Pranishvaraha Jata Shradho Matkatasu Nirvina Sarvakarmasu Vedukatmakam Tamam Parityage
Pranishvaraha
I'll just read now the translation, and sorry, you can just read it.
Just only.
Huh? Only the translation in Slovak.
Okay. Můj oddaný, který probudil víru v popisy mé slávy, který je znechucený všemi hmotnými činnostmi a který ví, že všechen smyslový požitek vede k utrpení, ale stále se nedokáže říci všeho uspokojování smyslu. Má zůstat šťastný a uctívat mě s pevnou vírou a přesvědčením. I když se někdy věnuje uspokojování smyslu, ví, že veškerý smyslový požitek přináší strastiplné výsledky a upřímně těchto činností lituje.
Oh, yesterday we heard the purport,
Včera jsme slyšeli význam
and some discussion was there.
a byla tu nějaká diskuze.
Does anyone remember something about what we discussed yesterday?
Pamatuje si někdo, co jsme včera diskutovali?
In the morning class.
Včera ráno.
I don't mean during the shardam or
Nemyslím během prasadam nebo něco.
day.
Myslím ani plexi. Že materiální činnosti vedou k smyslovému uspokojování.
Yeah,
A z toho přichází utrpení.
our suffering comes from sense gratification.
Jakým způsobem přichází utrpení ze smyslového požitku.
I think we extended that a little bit.
Dneska my jsme to trošku rozvinuli. Jsme se taky bavili o tom, že přichází z minulého života.
Stories there. And we tend to further see those tendencies and desires by discussing or thinking about it.
A my je vyživujeme tím, že o tom diskutujeme a bavíme se o něm a rozjímáme.
Even though we often have, even in this lifetime, we have experienced the effect of doing that.
Dokonce i když máme v tomto životě zkušenost s tím, jaký efekt, když to děláme.
How it makes us in this very enthusiasm, devotion of service.
A jak to snižuje náš nadšení do oddané služby.
It may cloud our consciousness. We can't see things clearly.
Může to pokrýt naše vědomí a nemusíme vidět věci tak, jak jsou.
Doubt to grow or to appear.
A vzrůstají naše pochyby.
In general, makes life a bit difficult and slows down our spiritual progress.
A obecně nám to stěžuje život a pomaluje duchovní pokrok.
And even though we know, we have some knowledge, and we may even have some experience,
Možná máme nějaké poznání, nějakou zkušenost.
the tendency is still to succumb or to, meditate on the past, whatever past.
I přestože máme nějakou zkušenost, tak stále ty tendence k tomu nad tím rozjímat, nad tím zkušenostmi a aktivitami tam je.
Did we discuss much else yesterday? That was the main topic.
Ještě něco jsme diskutovali, to hlavní téma. You mentioned what is the main point of this verse. Okay. The devotee could have some depression or distress from this. Because it's difficult for him to do some things, or he's not able to do pure devotional service.
Very good point.
Velice dobrý bod, děkuji.
This we discussed a little bit of detail yesterday.
Jsme trošku do detailu včera diskutovali.
It's a very large topic.
To je velice hluboké a rozsáhlé téma.
It is certainly a very significant point mentioned
A zajisté je to velmi důležitý bod
in the purport by our commentators.
Že to zmínili v komentáři ve významu.
Depression in its various forms
Že deprese v různých podobách
may have various causes,
může mít různé příčiny.
and one of the causes is feeling oneself a failure,
A jeden z nich je, že se cítíme, že jsme selhali.
expectation,
Že jsme nedosáhli něčích očekávání.
being made to feel, lesser or insignificant by others sometimes,
Že se cítíme, že jsme méně nebo méně významní než ostatní.
because it's not apparently coming up to the expected mark.
Že to jakoby přichází do takového, nepřichází do takové očekávané úrovně.
And the relevance of such situations. Well, perhaps we mentioned examples again. For example, perhaps you're looking at one situation.
Takže navzdory tomu, že my jako nějakým způsobem díváme na tu situaci, jsme třeba zmínili i toho gadgendru.
You might be setting too high a goal.
Že si možno dáváme příliš velké cíle příliš brzo.
Maybe extended, we talked about that regarding children and people in general, trying to imitate.
Jsme se trošku bavili o tom, že lidi se snaží někdy imitovat.
And sometimes people make fun of you, or they put you down, they make you feel awful.
A taky někdy se vás lidi snaží jako ponížit a udělat vás takový jakoby zavržení hodné.
So we discussed how to try to a little bit encourage rather than discourage by being situated in a situation which is more realistic.
Okay. Teď jsme se bavili o tom, jakým způsobem se více být jako víc pozbuzený než odpuzený tím, že se vlastně dáme do pozice, která je víc relevantní naší skutečné pozici.
So this would bring us into the subject matter of Anashram, which is a never ending.
To nás přivedlo k tomu tématu Varnešrámy, který je v podstatě nekonečný.
That was the idea.
To byla ta ta idealizace.
Setting a target which is achievable
Ustanovit cíl, který je dosáhnutelný.
and progressive to help us go forward, not we stop at point.
A ne, že my se na tom bodě zastavíme, ale spíš budeme potom dál.
So we gain confidence, we gain enthusiasm.
Dosáhneme nějakého sebevědomí, nadšení.
Okay, so we'll look at some other points, right? And okay, what are we going to do about it? That's one thing, the practical side. And we also discuss
že jedna věc je praktická strana a co budeme dělat.
I think circumstances, we discussed even the basic regulating principles of
Myslím, že jsme se bavili o okolnostech a taky o základních regulativních principech.
Are also time-based,
které jsou taky na základě členství místa a okolností.
And not only because of our particular level of maturity, is there sometimes differences in the following of, for instance, intoxication.
Okay, že na základě naší úrovně, že se nacházíme na to adikáru, tak vlastně jsou různé úrovně.
You know, what is the regulating principle for food?
Co je to regulativní princip pro šudu?
What is the regulating principle for Brahmin may not be a regulating principle for food.
A že to, co je regulativní princip pro Brahmanu, nemusí být regulativní princip pro šudu.
The secret which we discussed in the afternoon was that we follow Krishna's direction according to our situation.
Takže to, co jsme diskutovali potom odpoledne, bylo to, že my následujeme Kršnovy pokyn na základě situace.
We discussed a little bit about certain circumstances which may, not saying do, but may, not be justified, but may result in not such a strict application of principles.
Když jsme se bavili o situaci, která nemusí ústit úplně v nejstriktnější aplikaci toho principu.
Well, we could give some more examples. We may be forced
můžeme třeba dát další příklady, že jsme nuceni nějakým způsobem jednat, nebo jednat proti tomu.
Family, society.
Naše rodina, společnost.
There may be another circumstance too.
Možno další okolnosti.
That you can think of another situation when one may not follow strictly what one would normally follow.
Můžeme se bavit o situaci, ve které třeba nebudeme tak striktně následovat něco, co bychom následovali podle našeho adikáru.
Not justifying it, but there are circumstances where it may happen.
My si to neospravedlňujeme, ale věc je to, že jsou okolnosti, kde se to může stát.
Not taking into account here your adhikar, your activity discussed, not taking force into account. We're not taking circumstances like in married life, or sometimes a little bit of common sense after you. No, something else.
My se nebavíme o vašich adhikáru jako způsobilosti nebo nějakých okolnostech, jako například rodinný život, ale my se bavíme o nějakých specifických okolnostech. Při určité choroby. Aha, co říkáš na to? He's asking if it's in case of some disease.
Could be, yeah.
Může být.
When one's health is diseased.
Když něčí zdraví je špatný.
It's a little bit between circumstance and force.
Je to někde mezi okolnostmi a tlakem, nebo
medicine.
Například medicína.
But something even more kind of like distinct.
Něco jakoby víc označeného nebo distingovaného. Odlišného. Odlišného. I translate the word distinct different way. Okay.
Example for others. Showing an example for others.
Okay. Že dává to příklad
Okay.
někomu.
Yeah, there may be circumstance. We did actually mention yesterday that Uchi Maharaj, how he was performing Samakandya activity.
My jsme včera zmiňovali o tom, jak Kristu Maharaj vykonával plodnostné činnosti.
Way below his level of adhikar.
Daleko pod jeho úrovní adhikáry.
Help those who are on that level, the majority of people on the materialistic platform, to help them to properly perform judgment.
Že vlastně pomáhal lidem, kteří jsou na materialistické úrovni správně následovat ty povinnosti.
And there may be, I'm not thinking, but at the moment, but there may well be some good examples of even more extreme, showing people how to do, let's say, lowly activities properly to help elevate them up.
Zde můžou být dokonce ještě extrémnější příklady, kde můžeme ukazovat lidem, jak následovat ty nižší principy, aby jsme je nějakým způsobem potom povznesli.
Certainly on a higher level, we see that quite clearly.
Na vyšší úrovni to můžeme vidět celkem čistěji.
When the pure devotees of the Lord take the role of Madhyamadikari, they may,
čistí oddaní přijímají tu roli Madhyamadikariho.
And they behave like almost like a neophyte sometimes.
A někdy dokonce jednají jako začátečníci.
Yeah, that's an interesting point.
Ano, to je zajímavé.
Anything else?
Něco dalšího?
Well, one other comes to mind. There may be many more details, but one specific one.
Jedna specifická věc přichází.
And that, I'll give an example. One time, Harikesh, performing at the time,
jednou Harikesh
was asked by Srila Prabhupada to preach in the Eastern Bloc, into the communist.
Mu Prabhupada řekl, aby šel kázat do východního bloku, do komunistického režimu.
And I guess that time you also, the country was also.
Pokládám, že tato země v té době taky byla ve východním bloku.
So he did. He concentrated on serving Prabhupada by teaching him.
Takže on se koncentroval na to, aby sloužil Prabhupadovi ve těch východních zemích.
It's a very unusual character.
On je taková neobyčejná povaha.
And he had a very unusual relationship with Prabhupada.
A měl velmi neobvyklý vztah s Prabhupádou.
So he challenged Prabhupada. Challenged.
A on vyzval Prabhupádu.
Prabhupada, there's nothing to eat there.
A on řekl, Prabhupada, tam není co jíst.
Only meat.
Jenom maso.
Get this idea of meat and liquor or something.
Takže si můžete představit, jak to funguje v Rusku, že tam jenom vodka a maso.
During that time, of course, it wasn't easy to get many things, but there was certainly more than just vodka.
A v té době tam to bylo mnohem těžší, dostat to mnoho věcí.
Made this kind of challenge.
Takže on ho nějakým způsobem
Já
tam nemůžu nic říct Prabhupada.
And Prabhupada said, what did Prabhupada say?
Co řekl Prabhupada? Then eat. Yeah.
So necessity is another reason.
Takže nezbytnost je další důvod.
If you're starving, you've got service to do. Sometimes
někdy, když strádáte a potřebujete dělat službu, tak
don't make that the rule. That is an exception.
Neudělejte z toho pravidlo. To je výjimka.
There's an occasion when Prabhupada ate
Tam je okolnost, kdy Prabhupada jedl cibuli.
And the Indian teaching program in Punjab.
To byl indický kazatelský program v Punjabu.
And one of the Prabhupada servants pointed out to Srila Prabhupada there's onion in the stuff.
A jeden z Prabhupádových služebníků řekl Prabhupadovi, že ale tam je cibule v tom preparaci.
I know.
A Prabhupada na to řekl, já vím, ale
you come here to preach, not
jsem tam přišli kázat.
you should have explained it to our host before we came. You should have explained these things to our host before we came.
Máš vysvětlit tyto věci našim hostitelům předtím, než přijdeme.
Because they become very offended if you suddenly in the middle of the program say, we don't eat your food because
Oni se ve skutečnosti velmi urazili, když prostřed toho programu jim řekli, že my nebudeme jít vaši jídlo, protože tam cítíme. Takže tohle jsou výjimky. Samozřejmě my to se snažíme vyhnout
can look at it a different way, but the acharyas have showed it. For exceptional cases from that school,
Takže
that
se
we
na,
wouldn't normally do.
takže se na to můžete podívat z různého pohledu, ale ačarové za určitý okolnosti dali příklad, že můžeme dělat věci, které bychom za normální okolností nedělali, proto, abychom mohli vykonávat dneska je Ekadaši.
And I guess everybody here is following that.
Já předpokládám, že každý zde následuje Ekadaši.
In Slovakia you have no grain?
Nemáte obydlí na Slovensku?
But you can find testimonies from Slovakia disciples.
Ale můžete najít také úryvky z Oča Prabhupádových žáků.
Because many of them were Bengali.
Protože mnohí byli Bengálci.
Into Bengal.
A když půjdete do Bengálska,
you will know that Bengalis are they like rice.
A tak můžete si všimnout, že Bengálci mají velmi rádi.
They can't practically manage a day. Right?
A prakticky řečeno, oni nejsou schopni přežít jeden den bez rýže.
And like Siddhanta Maharaj even says, the preachers, not the general those who are going out preaching in public.
A Prabhupád Bhaktisnana Saraswati dokonce řekl těm, kteří chodí ven kázat,
that if you can't find anything else to eat on the cottage, you can eat rice.
Že pokud vy nebudete schopni najít něco k jídlu na Ekadaši jiného, tak můžete dokonce jít rýže. Ale tohle jsou extrémní.
In prison or something.
Nebo ve vězení.
And still related to, I think you mentioned it earlier on, but how.
A to se vztahuje na toto dané předtím, že zdravotní situace.
You may have to eat a certain type of food because of force or circumstance or whatever.
Že můžete jíst určitý druh jídla na základě toho, že se tomu nucení nebo okolnosti.
We'll go on now. You could take almost any one of these points. Go on.
Můžeme vzít kterýkoliv z těchto bodů a pokračovat dál a dál.
Let's look at some other points.
Ale podívejme se na další body.
Who can think of some other points which are relevant? I mean,
můžeme
se
zamyslet nad dalšími body, které jsou
Try not to look at the purport. Try not to look at the purport now because that's not difficult to do. If you may not have had any time, but I could suggest you go through it and make some.
Takže nemusíte teď si udělat toho významu a včera abyste se to podívali.
Yeah, I remember now. I don't know what year it was, but it would have probably been early 90s.
Nevím přesně, kdy to bylo, asi pokládám začátkem 90.
Whatever reason it was, I was discussing with Bhakti Prasad.
Já nevím, z jaké okolnosti to bylo, nebo z jakého důvodu, já jsem mluvil s Bhakti Prasad.
And I discussed it a little bit with him the other day, actually, on a different subject now.
Já jsem s ním mluvil na různé témata.
But at that time, I was experiencing myself, actually, some of the issues that you just discussed.
A v té době jsem sám zakoušel určité věci, které tady diskutujeme.
In terms of feeling of failure,
ve termínech toho, že jsem chtěl jako selhání, depresi.
In terms of thinking, well, maybe I don't belong here.
Myslel jsem si, že tady ani nepatřím.
Maybe I could go away or go some other group, or I don't know.
Možná mám jít úplně pryč, nebo se čuji v jiné skupině, nekvalifikovaný.
I didn't have probably the guts or the courage to do any of those things, but I was thinking like.
A asi jsem měl kuráž na to udělat jakoukoliv z těch věcí, ale
well, I can't remember the successful wrote, but somewhere I can.
Takže nevím, jestli to nějak
at that time, most of us had not read the 11th canto of Bhagavatam. I think it only just come out.
V té době jsme četli 11. kanto, protože akorát ještě nečetli. Že ještě nečetli 11. kanto, protože nebylo vydaný.
And he wrote back and he just wrote back saying, read these two verses, this one and one other verse.
OK, Maharáč, že to četl. OK. Že Maharáč, on to četl a zmínil tenhle ještě nějaký verše.
So I did. So it helped. It really helped.
A mě to velmi pomohlo.
Now, this verse, although in one sense it refers to the neophyte, this verse, which we read here, it refers to the neophyte. I mean,
Sorry,
changing of the guard. It's not easy. So at the same time, it's a quite elevated neophyte in one sense, isn't it? I mean, you read the verse. Look at the verse. Having awakened faith in narrations of my glory. Okay, something is there. Some faith.
Je tam nějaká věra.
And being disgusted with all material activities. Are we disgusted with all material activities?
A být znechucený všetkými materiálními činnostmi.
You know yourself. I'm not my business to statement on that. I know I'm not sufficiently disgusted with all material activities. I know my own situation. I can't speak about yours.
Ja nemôžem situovať vašu situáciu určite, ale ja poznám svoju situáciu, že nie som úplne.
In one sense, this is one of, you could say, one of the main threads of the purport, or let's say one of the aspects which makes the whole purport sort of more significant or more realistic.
To je aspekt, ktorý robí ten význam oveľa dôležitejší, oveľa.
So to some degree we're disgusted,
Do nejakej miery
but maybe not completely disgusted.
možno neúplne
It may still have a little bit of a sentiment towards, material sense gratification.
Môže tam byť ešte nejaký sentiment k materiálnemu
Kind of what we
uspokojovaniu.
discussed. Not only because of past circumstances, but sometimes present ones.
Niekedy nielen kvôli okolnostiam a niekedy aj kvôli tým súčasným.
Sentiments for the mode of goodness.
Napríklad sentiment k kvalite dobra.
Sentiments for material, whatever. We may not be on the platform of, a wise lament neither for the living nor the dead.
Že niekedy môžeme byť, teda nemusíme byť na tej úrovni, že nelamentujeme ohľadne
we may not be repelled by the possibility of sense enjoyment, be it sex life or some sport, mundane music or something.
Musíme byť na tej úrovni, že vlastne sme znesúčení napríklad sexuálnym životom alebo nejaké materiálnej hudbou.
We may be trying to avoid it, knowing we're meant to avoid these things.
My môžeme sa snažiť sa tomu vyhnúť, pretože vieme, že mali by sme.
Desires come into our mind due to the past association.
A vďaka minulej spoločnosti, ktoré sme boli, tak prichádzajú do nich rôzne.
We may still be thinking, maybe I can still enjoy.
Môžeme si myslieť, že možno ešte stále si môžem písať užiť.
Kind of related to what we said yesterday, but a little bit more, we can say, present desire.
Že je to, stále sa to k tomu, čo sme spomínali včera, ale v podstate môže to byť súčasná túžba.
And when you read in the purport, because the verse does give that sometimes we fall into this, let's say, it's not a trap in one sense, but fall into this weakness of heart, and we fall again to a little bit of sense gratification.
A to je napísané vo verši, že niekedy môže sa postaviť taká teda našej slabosti, že spadneme do toho zmyslového pozitu.
But if we read in the purport, we'll see that there's a long statement there, actually. I think this is a quote from Krishna.
Keď sa pozrieme do významu, tak je tam taký statement, citát, myslím, že je to odpísané
And a very significant statement.
je veľmi významný.
And I guess we have to look at the book. Probably better. I'll read it in English so we get the spirit. I'll read it right through in English. Then you read it right through in Sanskrit. And this begins, I don't know how to find it. There's a word, Drida Nishjaya, which is about maybe 15, 20 lines down. 18, 20, depends on how many lines. You find it? Drida Nishjaya? Okay, then just after that, 2 lines after, there's exclamation mark. These two are things beginning with thus he thinks. It says thus he thinks and exclamation mark. Thus he thinks. Just read a little, one sentence after with a nishta, and then the next sentence begins thus he thinks. Got it? Okay. So I'm going to read this. Because an important thing here in dealing with this is called steadfast conviction, which is with a nishta. Steadfast conviction.
Chceme čítať odsadie, pretože hovorí sa tu o stálom presvedčení, čo je druhá ničia.
So now we're going to say how to go without that determination to go on with one's duty.
Takže teraz budeme hovoriť o tom, ako získať to odhodlanie pokračovať so svojimi povinnostami.
Let's start to say before we forget, how do we get that determination?
Takže ako získame vlastne to odhodlanie pokračovať.
Or to, maybe adjust, if we just started yesterday, but one way or another, to carry on with the path as well. So carry on fighting against Maya, even if you have to take a different position in the fight.
Takže, tak ako sme spomínali, môžeme byť na tie okolnosti, ale v podstate ide o to, že ako stálo teda bojovať alebo proti tej máji, aj keď môžeme dostať do alebo prijať inú pozíciu.
How do we do it?
Ako to urobíme?
Pardon? No, I'm asking the devotee.
Okay, takže ako to urobíte?
It's not necessary to let this set in first. How would you say having a loss of determination?
Že ako to urobíme, keď máme veľmi dostatok odhodlania?
What are you going to do?
To urobíte.
Association. Relevant, good association.
Môžeme robiť veľa vecí, ale v prvom rade
Probably the most effective.
dobrá spoločnosť. Je to veľmi efektívne.
Okay, that's the one mentioned in the verse.
Môžeme sa modliť k Pánovi, to je znamená aj v tomto verši.
Is it? Some sport? Sport? Didn't get that word. Sport. Soul. Still haven't got it. I just saw it. I can't. Something which will inspire by.
Že nájsť nejakú inšpiráciu.
I mentioned that the other day. Maybe. When I was going through that occasions in my life, going through whatever challenges may have included successes, that.
Takže keď ja som prechádzal vlastne týmito ťažkosťami,
I would often resort to, or Krishna would arrange for a situation where what I was doing, aside from Krishna consciousness, was a little inspiring.
Takže Krishna to zaranžoval tak, že ešte aj popri tom, čo som robil Krishna a vedomí, tak som robil niečo, čo ma Krishna inšpiroval.
Now, this is an interesting topic.
To je veľmi zaujímavý
Because you could go over the line. You could go, okay, well, what would interest me would be the game of football.
lebo
But
ešte
that's not necessarily going to inspire me in my Krishna consciousness. Yeah.
vždy povedať, že to je trošku ako žiť za hranicou,
To be
lebo
quite
napríklad
honest.
môžem si myslieť, že čo ma bude inšpirovať, je napríklad futbal, ale ako mi to pomôže
Even
Krishna
you
vedieť.
mentioned association of devotees. Again, revealing one's mind in the association of devotees is very, very
Ako
thin.
spomínala, že
A lot of problems can be solved if that's possible.
spoločnosť oddaných vlastne vyhľadať, tak samozrejme je dôležité spoločnosť oddaných objavovať to,
At
že
the
môže
same
byť
time, a lot of problems can be caused by revealing your mind in the association of devotees.
veľa vecí môže byť vlastne spoločnosť oddaných takto
It shouldn't be, but it often is, And that happened to me many times in my life, to the point where I didn't want to reveal my mind at all to anyone.
Keď vyjadrím to, ale niekedy môže stať, že môže dojsť k nejakým problémom z toho, že si objavím to, no som tie skúsenosti.
And you get kind of all bottled up inside. You get bottled up, this term? And you can't see any way out. There's no one to you don't trust that. You lose your trust. And you're not solving the problem. It's supposed to be solved in the association of devotees. But it's supposed to be confidential. So it's not you just speak to anybody about anything. You walk around with a sign, Not everyone will take it the right way. Especially today. Tough this day and age, huh? I mean, in the past it was a little bit easier, but now you have, what do you call it? Social media?
Yeah.
It's amazing, how quickly even misinformation travels quicker than information. Huh? It's such a difficult age to be honest. People don't appreciate honesty so much. The tendency is to tear everyone down as quickly and as much as you can. It's a common tendency. Of course, from one's own point, you could say, in relation with Krishna, it may be good in one sense that we're being brought down, publicly discredited, whatever it is.
Našom osobnom vzťahu s Krišnou je to dôležité, aby to bolo confidential.
But it may not be good for others.
Aby vlastne
Or for the movement.
Ale nemôže to byť dobré pre...
But anyway, back to the point. This revealing one's mind and confidence in the association of devotees is very important. Another thing, the festivals. Mention our charters. Attending festivals helps to build up confidence. So, or just being with devotees who are enthusiastic, who are, just a little bit encouraging to us, would definitely have a good effect. And back to the point that was mentioned here about services, so I often found that it wasn't just go out and have a drink. Some devotees, I know some devotees, sitting down, they just go out and have a drink and kind of drink it off. Not a very good thing. Are you saying good idea? But I know those who've done it, and to some degree, of course you kind of go down, but you kind of like, at least you're not going to explode, Get some relief. Sometimes it explodes.
to dáte tak, akože máte takú nejakú úľavu a lásku.
Brother Vikash told me, he said he knew one of God brother who used to masturbate almost every day to let this press go. He was quite open, yeah. Wasn't, I mean, some God, but I don't even know it was. You know, it's not something we want to do. It's not the right way to do it. But, you know, without that real confidential association with the devotees, you don't know what else to do.
Že to akože nepodporujeme, ale čo on mal robiť, keď mal vlastne tú intimnú spoločnosť oddaných, nemal sa tomu vyrozprávať.
Maybe not being rightly situated, you know, trying to be something we're not quite ready for, shouldn't be at all.
Že on tam mal nejaký tlak a myslím, že nebol správne, alebo nemal niekoľko plnú vzťahovať.
And you could go on and on, different examples like your sex, like I know that the devotees, he just went to the prostitute, he just had to do something.
Napríklad môžeme takto pokračovať ďalej a ďalej. Napríklad daného, ktorý nevedel, čo robiť, tak išiel za prostitútkou.
In many circumstances, which are not easy.
A sú rôzne okolnosti, ktoré nie.
But one thing is, if you do have the good fortune of having, what everyone does actually, finding something which is positive, which you can offer.
Ale keď máte šťastie, tak nájdete niečo pozitívne, čo môžete aj obetovať.
Now, what do you have? What would you say you've been gifted with positively that you could offer?
Takže keď hovoríme pozitívne, tak čo máte vy, čo by ste mohli pozitívne skúšať ponúknuť?
Somebody? Okay, yeah, this is called talent, or something you like doing, or something which maybe not doing it at the moment, or in your present state of devotional service, but something you would feel inspired by doing. Music, very good. You play music? Pardon? Piano. Okay. So that's okay. We'll just take that simple example. You're going through a tough time in your devotional service. You're told to go out on the street every day, collect money, selling cookies or something. You're having a really tough time. You're thinking, maybe I should just go to the railway station and catch a train back home and forget about this. Maybe I should go and join the Gaudiya Mass. They don't ask me to do this. Or whatever. But you don't want to do that. You're a faithful person. You're initiated or whatever. You don't want to let the guru down. You don't want to let the devotees down. You think the problem is mine. It's all my problem. Something's wrong with me.
Sklamať gurua a Krishnu a povieš si, že ale to asi môj problém, to je so mnou problém.
Now, I don't know how accommodative it would be if suddenly you brought your piano from home to the temple and all day long playing on your piano. I don't know if everyone would be inspired, even though you're singing Hare Krishna. I don't know if that was, I don't know. I mean, it could be acceptable, but it might not be also. I don't know.
Pokiaľ si zoberieš z domu piano do chrámu a budeš tam na neho hrať, dokonca keď budeš
But there are many devotees who go through this, I tell you. They have to do something which, and trying to dovetail it in Krishna service.
Takže, ale musíme robiť niečo, čo sa budeme snažiť nejakým spôsobom to spojili zamestnať.
It's not like going to the liquor shop or the brothel or something.
It's not
bad, whether it be acceptable or not. What was your name again? I can't see it. Diana? Okay. What's Diana? Diana's on the piano. Oh, right. That's good. Maybe it's both right. Diana's on the piano. She's on there all day long. What is this? Maybe a little time of the day. Well, somebody has to do a bit of hatha yoga, huh? A bit of hatha yoga. You see so many devotees doing a bit of this just to keep going for a jog, going jogging. I've
Alebo
seen devotees whipping tennis balls across the court in Vrindavan.
vidíte oddaných, ako napríklad behajú alebo vo Brindávani
What are you doing
robia
this for?
tenis.
I just gotta let the steam off, We're neophytes, So neophyte, the word in English is different in Slovakian, but in English, neophyte is very close to the word near a fight.
Takže
One of the
znie
tenses
to
of
troška
neophyte.
inak v
We
slovenčine,
just don't
ale
understand each other. If you don't see it the way I see it, watch out.
v angličtine my to prekladám tak, že neophyte alebo začiatočník znamená near fight, čiže blízko boju.
The advanced devotees, they can see what you need. You can't just something. Maybe you can't always just all be surrendered devotional service. Yes, we can. You may not be quite ready for it.
Keď vidíte, že niekto náhodou nerobí to, čo ja, tak je boj, ale pokročilejší odo mňa vidí, že sú rôzne úrovne odovzdania sa.
I'll give my example was when I was a little different because I had a practical thing to offer. I had a practical thing to offer.
Ja som mal praktickú vec, ktorú som mohol ponúknuť.
There's 2 occasions. You'll be surprised. You've got more than you think you've got.
A vy budete prekvapení, že si viac než
Some reason I had this practical, and those who know me know it, but a practical ability to handle money.
Ja som mal takú praktickú schopnosť narábať s peniazmi.
And I came from my father, who was very thrifty person, very careful not to lose money, not to misuse money, not to waste money like that.
Že ja som mal takého otca, ktorý bol taký pedant a on nechcel som stratiť peniaze, trošku taký ako
they made me the treasurer of the Bhaktivedanta Manor and Bury Place, both at the same time when I was a young devotee after about a year in the movement, I guess.
Keď ja som bol mladý oddaný a tak ja som bol pokladníkom
I had no experience directly, but some or another, this, they could do it, more or less.
Takže ja som ako
I learned more and more by experience. I learned by experience.
Ale naučil som sa so skúsenostami.
And I learned accounting. I was working with accounting.
A ja som pracoval s účtovníkom, som sa aj
then I went to other services, many things.
A išiel som aj vlastne.
I handed over back to the cash Maharaj, his name was Alapati at the time. I handed over the treasury to Alapati, that's back to the cash Maharaj before he got to the
A potom som dal tú službu, predal Kašovi Maharajovi.
That lasted 1 month.
A to trvalo to 1
He was hopeless at it.
On bol úplne beznádejný v tom.
They asked me to go back in.
A on ma požiadal, aby som sa vrátil.
Anyway, I went on to other services eventually.
Ale išiel som potom aj.
But I found, when I felt like I was not really going in, in many cases, I would volunteer in temples wherever I was. If you want, I can help with your account.
Takže ja som potom povedal, že ja budem ako dobrovoľne robiť službu pre temply, ktoré potrebujú pomoc.
You might say, using a little intelligence to suggest that. But it had an amazing effect. Because, not only am I engaged in something which I materially speaking could do.
Takže nebol som zamestnaný, alebo teda bol som zamestnaný v tom, čo akože materiálne povedať som
very important thing in your life.
Ale je to veľmi dôležitá vec pre
začiatočníka. To be a priest.
Ale čo je dôležité pre začiatočníka je
it's easy to find fault. It is easy to find fault.
Je veľmi jednoduché vidieť
whatever reason.
Akohokoľvek dôvodu.
But genuine appreciation for a neophyte, for a child, is quite an important thing.
Takže ale to oceniť začiatočníka pre dieťa je veľmi dôležitá vec.
It could be forced or whatever. It might be forced praise. You could say other things, but genuine appreciation for a neophyte is important. But advanced devotee is not important.
Spoločné ocenenie môže byť tiež, ale toto skutočné úprimné
They shy
ocenenie
away
je pre
from
neho veľmi dôležité.
They don't want to be respected. They don't want any of these things. They don't want to be respected.
Ani pokročili odo mňa, nechcú takéto veci ocenenie.
But in certain circumstances, it has its relevance.
Ale za určitých okolností je to relevantné.
So when you do something which, especially when you're talking about money and income, and you help save the temple money, they really appreciate it.
Že keď vy ste vyskone a pomôžete niekomu
It's an easy one.
ušetriť peniaze pre temple, tak
Everywhere there's
je to
struggling with that
samozrejme
one.
ocenené.
Well, something which, fits in, music definitely fits in. It may not be just sitting playing the piano, but all day long. But if you do it in a nice way, learn to play the harmonium, you play the harmonium in a kirtan, it's like our Yasomati, she's really good at kirtan and playing the harmonium. When she does that, it's enlivening. Everyone feels great.
Napríklad,
Huh? Pardon? Learn it. Simply learn it. You play the piano. It's not that difficult to play the harmonium. Learn it.
napríklad ako
Take
ja
part in it. This little things like this can mean a lot. Madunga. Play it properly though. Try to learn it.
sa chceš naučiť na harmoniu, tak si to nauč. A napríklad ako ja Šamati, ona hraje veľmi pekne na harmonium a ona to teda rada robí, takže keď hraje, takže je to také osviežujúce.
Cooking, a great one. Cooking.
Teda aj varenie.
Please the devotee. Isn't it wonderful if you see all the devotees happy? You've just cooked fantastic, whatever, something fantastic.
Ste radi, keď ste oddaní šťastní, tak
And everyone's happy. Don't you feel enlivened? Don't you feel happy? When you go catering and you see thousands of people buying prashadam and they're all coming back, don't you feel enlivened? You've worked all day, but you still feel like working all night. You're so enlivened.
Toľko ľudí ste na cateringu, ktorí vlastne jedia a ste
Please
šťastní,
the devotees. Find some way you can please the devotees.
Takže snažte sa
So sweet.
niečo nájsť.
Not that okay, I'm going to please the devotees. Give me the badunga. You don't know how to play it. I'm going to please the devotees, you think. So I heard that if I play the madunga, and maybe then I'll please the devotees. So I grab the madunga, but I don't know how to play it.
Napríklad, tak počuli sme, že chceme potešiť oddaných, tak si poviem, že
Playing out of beat.
idem hrať na brigandu, ale neviem hrať.
Boom, 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 boom. And the leader turns out, please, will you stop playing the madunga?
A líder potom povie, prosím ťa, prestaň hrať na
Not going to make
brigandu.
you very enlivened.
To není veľmi
Or you can cook.
osviežujúce.
I know there was one devotee in Australia when I was there. We haven't started today, so we'll have to carry on tomorrow night. Something too late. And
My to ani poriadne nezačali, je to veľmi...
this devotee, they like to cook. They like to cook. This
Napríklad,
devotee, a
oddaní
Mataji.
radi.
She liked to cook. She couldn't cook if you paid her. She couldn't. She always wanted to cook, but she had no idea how to cook.
Že bola Mataji, ktorá
It was like,
chcela variť, ale nevedela.
it was so funny. It mixes a couple of these things together, but I'll just give the first one. She would cook, breakfast because no one else would do it. She would do anything. She would do any service you asked, even if she couldn't do it. She'd do it.
Bola Mataji, ktorá varila raníčko, lebo
So
nikto to nemohol
most
robiť.
of the time, we couldn't get
Ona-
anyone to cook at
Ona
New
by urobila
Govardhan.
všetko vlastne, čo ste oni požiadali. Ona to nevedela robiť, ale
Everyone had an excuse. But she'd never have an excuse. Yes, I'll do it.
nikdy nemala vyhovať.
Oh my God, can't we find someone else? No, we couldn't. So she's in there, and she would boil what you're meant to fry and fry what you're meant to boil, and she would just throw the whole spices into the water and boil them, like cumin seeds and chilies. She just throw it into the water. They would never chomp.
A my sme si vraveli, že toto
A
treba
boiled
spraviť, ale
cumin
není
seeds,
nikto, kto by to spravil. No dobre, nech to spravila
Everyone
ona.
would be like just
A ona
boil.
varila to, čo trebalo snažiť, čo
The wrong
trebalo variť,
spices.
snažila. Ona zobrala
It was like-
korenia a tie korenia hodila do vody a uvarila, takže nebolo čo.
Uncooked. The chapatis would be like raw.
Niečo tam dala,
dough.
že neuvarila, niečo bolo surové.
I mean, But she was totally surrendered.
Ale bola úplne odovzdaná.
But she couldn't cook. But
Ale
so
nevedela variť.
you learn to do things from those who know.
Naučí sa veci robiť od tých, čo to
And
vedia.
it usually is more effective in pleasing the devotees.
A potom to efektívne použitia, aby
She was a disciple of Tamal Krishna Maharaj.
Ona bola
And I was sitting with Tamal Krishna Maharaj one day,
Ja som s ním raz sedel.
and we were taking lunch,
Sme mali obed.
and she insisted on cooking.
A ona naniehala, že bude variť.
They let her cook one preparation only.
A nikdy oni
She said,
nevarili
I
len
want to
jednu
cook a
preparáciu.
cake for Guru Dev.
Ona bola, že chce navariť cake pre guru.
So she cooked this cake,
A ona zvarila
and then the
to.
servant brought it in at some point of time
A potom sme
after
podobne
everything else was
priniesli.
finished, delicious lunch. And then she said, sweet, oh, there's the cake, Guru Dev. He
Takže
brought the cake in.
je tu cake guru.
It looked a little unusual.
On vyzeral tak nezvyčajne.
And I watched him. He took one mouthful.
A ja som sa pozeral na neho, on si to trojde.
His mouth kind of like, the whole face contorted.
A jeho
What
tvár úplne
is
sa
this?
skrížila. Čo to je?
It's a cake, Guru
A ten
Dev.
podobne povedal, to je koláč.
Who cooked this?
A kto to varil? Kto robil?
And they said so and so.
Povedal táta.
And bring her in right now.
Teraz ju doveď sem.
Prabhupada did the same thing that we may have heard. I know in
Prabhupada
London.
tiež robil takú vec.
I didn't see, but we heard Prabhupada the same thing with one young. And he brought him in. Everything was cooked wrong. Little boy cooked everything.
Tak raz to, že on dovedol takto, dovedol jedného
Prabhupada said, did you cook today?
poznaného
It's 12-year-old boy.
a pýtal
Son of a-
sa, ty si to
Very
dneska varil?
teenager. Said, yes, your Prabhupada.
Áno, Šiva, pravda.
Very nice. Thank you very much.
Povedal, veľmi pekné, ďakujem veľmi.
The boy was so inspired.
A ten chlapec bol taký inšpirovaný.
He went out and then Prabhupada scolded his servant and said, you nonsense rascal.
Potom on vyšiel z izby a Prabhupada zavolal
You're
služobníka
supposed to
a povedal, ty
supervise this. You're
Hlupák,
supposed to make sure they cook
si
it.
mal
Not the boys,
zariadiť
not
to, aby
You're-
on vlastne to nerobil.
So the case for this girl was a little bit different.
A
Of course,
ten
she wasn't a
prípad
girl,
toho
she was
dievčatka bol
a fully grown lady. But, and Gurudev, Tamal Krishna called her and said, you cook this cake?
tam Krishna Maharaj zavolal
She
a
was all
pýtal
blushing.
sa,
And,
že ty si varila ten cake?
yes, Gurudev.
Áno, ďakujem. Áno.
Said, that was the most interesting cake I've ever tasted.
A povedal, to bol najzaujímavejší koláč, aký
You can
som
take
ja
that in
ochutnal.
any way you like.
Aby si to môžete vyložiť,
And
ako
she was
chcete.
all chuffed and she left. And then he said, never, ever, ever let her cook for me ever again.
A potom
Not to
povedal,
her, but to his servant.
povedal služobníkom, už nikdy nenechajte pre mňa variť.
The
Nepovedal to
art
jej.
of encouraging people in devotional
Takže áno,
service,
je to umenie vlastne pozbudiť ľudí do
Great
odmeny.
art.
To je naozaj
and not
umenie.
putting out the little flame of that.
Aby sme vlastne nedali preč ten malý plamín od bhakti.
Huh?
Yeah.
Actually, to this, the student about teaching Prabhupada, how he goes that so by every by everything that for all the five according to Ayuta, Prabhupada
Exactly. The problem is, one of the problems is here is that we don't know. I mean, as you say, everything is there. Whether you're a real neophyte, slowly progressing through the stage of neophyte, becoming a little bit more advanced, we often take the wrong instruction and apply it in the wrong situation.
To je, keď sme o všetko v tých knihách, ale či sme už začiatočníci, alebo keď sa dostávame postupne na vyšší úroveň, Tak častokrát robíme to, že zoberieme zlú inštrukciu a aplikujeme ju na zlom.
It's plain common sense, but the most rarest thing, what do they say? The least common thing is common sense.
Takže najnezvyčajnejšia vec je bežný zdravotný rozum.
And especially in a general class, because in general classes, you know, we have devotees at all different levels. Huh?
Takže ako na tých verejných lekciách, tak
I was studying one class in Vrindavan.
máte oddaných na rôznych úrovniach.
And a very wonderful senior sannyasi is giving class.
A vo Vrindavane jeden veľmi pekný sannyasi dával
And he's getting into a particular topic, and he was really into this topic. It was about Vanaprastha.
a on sa dostal vlastne k jednej téme, bolo to ona
And it was about Yudhishthira Maharaj leaving, you know, all those verses. And Pancha Sordvam Vanam Prajet was quoted, if you know what that means.
A on hovoril, ako Yudhishthira Maharaj prijal Vanaprastha.
It means when you reach 50, you have to take Vanaprastha.
A bol tam taký verš, ktorý hovoril, že keď
And he's pushing it like anything in the class. Now, in that class, you've got all different types of persons. Different devotees will take it differently.
A boli tam rôzne osoby na lekcii a rôzne osoby rôzne pochopili.
There are guests in the class.
A bol tam taký host.
I don't know what the guests would think about this.
Neviem, či si o tom mysleli hosti.
Kind of like out of their agenda. 50 years old, you have to leave your family. It's like it's a law. It's not just a suggestion.
A on vral, ako si mohol myslieť, že 50 ročný opustiť rodinu, to bolo ako pravidlo, ako zákon, nielen ako že...
Now, if you don't embellish this, which they didn't, you have to understand that that is specifically for certain situations. It is not the majority of the population.
Že táto vec je pre špecifické prípady, nie pre väčšinu populácie.
For those who are Shudra mentality, this is not even nothing to do with them whatsoever. There's no questions even.
Tí, ktorí majú určitú mentalitu, pre nich nie je otázka vôbec toho, že by sa tým zaoberali, že by odšli.
Generally for the Vaishyas also, it is not something they do.
Pre Vaishyov to taký nie je.
This is specifically for the Kshatriyas.
Je to špeciálne pre Kshatriyov.
Brahmins are already supposed they should already be like that anyway.
Pretože Brahmani, oni aj tak by mali byť tak
So,
ako v tom
it has to be understood in its proper context.
že musíme to pochopiť v danom kontexte.
So anyway, this was going on, and then one devotee put their hand up at the end. Any questions? The class wasn't very long. He put a hand up. Maharaj, what do I do?
No a potom jeden daný jeho ruku bol...
I'm 48 years old now.
Ja mám 40 rokov.
I got married 2 years ago.
Ja som
I got a 1-year-old baby.
48 rokov a čo mám robiť? Ja som sa pred 2 rokmi oženil, mám
They got married at
jednoročné dieťa
46, and at 47 they had a baby.
a on sa oženil v 46 a
What do I do?
47 dieťa, čo urobím?
Pancha Sordvam Vanam Vijaya. That was it. Any other questions?
Zopakoval verš. Sú nejaké otázky ďalšie?
I looked around the audience.
Som sa
I
pozrel na...
just completed a paper on a class. I looked around the audience. I
Sa
thought,
pozrel na...
suppose by looking at each other,
Odaní sa pozreli na seba.
and I was like, almost scared to ask another question. Right?
A dali sa spýtať ďalšie otázky.
But, you know, it's true.
Je to
It's
pravda.
in the scriptures. It must be true.
Je to v písme.
Prabhupada says everyone should do this.
Prabhupada povedal, každý by to mal.
It's there. You can read it.
Ja si sám môžete to
But,
prečítať.
you know, you have to read the whole thing. You have to understand it in its whole context.
Ale musíte si prečítať všetko a
Who you're talking to.
pochopiť to v celom kontexte, ku komu hovoríte.
There's a whole religion on this planet based upon this misuse of a statement
Aj celé náboženstvo na planete,
or
ktoré
misunderstanding
vlastne je
of it,
postavené na tom, že
misapplication, whatever you call it.
oni proste zneužili rôzne
That's their
statementy a
main
citáty.
line. Now you make, if you say 1 and 1 equals 3,
Poviete, že
Right.
1 sa rovná 3.
when you know obviously it's 4,
A viete, že to je 4.
everything else you do isn't going to work, is it?
Takže keď chceme urobiť tak to
Start off with a false premise and everything else is wrong.
a vy máte nejakú akože premise.
So understanding, you know,
Falošný Že na začiatku je to zlé, tak potom všetko ostatné.
What is relevant?
Čo je relevantné.
Statements which may make ladies look like, they're like dirt almost sometimes.
Niekedy sú tam citáty, ktoré robia ženy
Are misunderstood or misapplied.
To je nepochopené, zle aplikované.
These statements are for men particularly so that they become responsible.
Ale tieto statementy sú v skutočnosti pre mužov, aby sa stali
And they don't look at women as objects of, sex life and sense gratification.
Aby sa nedívali na ženy ako na objekty sexuálneho života a
Warning. Vedic literatures were only given to the Brahmins and the Kshatriyas.
A tá vedecká literatúra bola daná len Brahmanom a Kshatriyom.
The Sudras would not study the Vedas.
Šudrovia
Weren't allowed to.
neštudovali vedu, to nebolo
They
dovolené,
misunderstand.
pretože oni by to zle pochopili.
Because there were no books in those days.
Ktorí neboli knihy, ale
And it was the duty of the Brahmins to give the relevant knowledge to all others relevant to their situation.
A to bolo povinnosť Brahmanov dať relevantné poznanie ostatným, ktoré bolo relevantné v ich danej situácii.
If you go to Naimishranya, how many ladies were sitting in the forest of Naimishranya listening to Sutta Goswami?
Keď sú do Naimishranya, koľko žien tam sedelo, počúvalo Sutta Goswami. Ani jedna.
88,000 ladies.
Bolo tam 88 000.
Why? Is discrimination? No.
Je to diskriminácia?
They are responsible for what goes on in society.
Nie, pretože oni sú zodpovední za to, čo
And
ide.
they're supposed to share this relevantly with all classes of society.
A oni to musia potom zdieľať relevantne s ostatnými
And not give you
triedami.
directions which are irrelevant or misused or disturbing you at certain
A nedávať vlastne inštrukcie, ktoré sú neurčité alebo vás odradzujú.
Anyway, Kali Yuga, what can you say? No leaders.
Ale je Kaliuga, takéto ľudí nesmú z Kaliuga.
Complicated age. Okay, we're going to have to finish at 5 after 9 and it's unlimited. We've only covered one of the topics here. We never even read that, how to deal with it.
Ja som chcel pokryť nejakú tému, ale som nechcel.
We'll have to carry on tomorrow. Okay, Hare Krishna. Prabhupada ki jai, Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Chant Hare Krishna. Kirtan. Come together and have a lot of kirtan. We'll go